Good morning on this July 4th weekend. We're celebrating 250 years of America. GMA went to all 50 states, showing what makes our nation so special. And we're halfway through. From the seas to the slopes to the springs, there's so much to see.
It's time to visit the Sunshine State as the Sunflower State.
There's no place like home.
As we go up, up, and away.
That's incredible.
To take to the skies with the U.S. Air Force Academy.
Awesome.
Plus, Michael takes us to his home state of Texas, shining a light on the largest recognized dark skies preserve in the world for a stunning view of the sky.
That, my friend, pretty freaking special.
Sharing the extraordinary natural beauty from Big Bend National Park. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. We are so happy to be with you on this July 4th weekend as we journey across America.
For the past year, GMA has been visiting all 50 states in the order they joined our union, showing what makes them special.
Let's go now to our 25th state, Arkansas. Ryan Houston from our affiliate KATV showing us some of the best that the natural state has to offer.
Arkansas is the 25th state in the Union, and it's rich in natural beauty. It played a meaningful role in U.S. history, and it's the home to several famous faces.
I fell into a burning ring of fire.
That's Johnny Cash, just one of the notable country music stars born here in Arkansas.
Because you're mine, I walk the line.
And from old school to new. Shay Mooney of Dan and Shay.
Save me the trouble, baby.
Our 42nd president, Bill Clinton, was born here too, along with sitcom TV's favorite butler, Daniel Davis, known for his quick wit and cheeky take on a British accent.
Oh, no, I couldn't possibly. I swore I wouldn't say a word. Read this.
Can't forget famous author John Grisham, known for his best-selling legal thrillers. Before the 25th state came into the Union in 1836, Arkansas, a Confederate state during the Civil War. But in 1957, a pivotal moment in the civil rights movement when the Little Rock Nine paved the way for desegregation in schools. Arkansas is nicknamed the Natural State, and rightfully so. A destination for outdoor adventure, from its natural hot springs to the mountain biking capital of the world in Bentonville, and canoeing down America's first national river, the Buffalo National River. Arkansas is an outdoor enthusiast playground.
Our next stop is Michigan, our beloved Ginger Z's home state, and it was the 26th to join the Union. Ginger has the one place there that makes it so special.
It's not just skiing, but snowboarding started in the state of Michigan, too. It was called snurfing in Muskegon in the 1960s. But we are here because of skiing and the Crystal Community Ski Club. It is a group that is making skiing accessible to all kids that want to get on skis, no matter what they have, no matter where they're from, all across the state.
In the majestic, snowy mountains of Michigan, everyone deserves a chance to ski. That's why the Crystal Community Ski Club started its mission in 2018 to make sure that any child who wants to hit the slopes can.
I love this club. I see the coaches as my friends. Like, they are truly, I feel like they truly care for me and want to see me do really, really well.
The nonprofit organization reaching more than 1,000 kids each year, focusing on affordability and inclusivity to break barriers for Michigan's youth.
We have scholarships and subsidized programming. We go to different communities who don't have a background in skiing and say, hey, we have a spot for you. Particularly with our friends in Hamtramck, the kids grew up in Yemen, Poland, and Bangladesh. And so we think it's really important to show them more of the country and get this access to snow sports.
More than 800 students here able to learn at no cost, including many young children bussed in from local elementary schools.
I just thought I was going to do it like for 1 or 2 years and then stop doing it. But I love it and I want to do it like the rest of my life.
The club's special partnership with the Crystal Mountain Ski Resort offering kids a vast home base. where they can explore multiple types of skiing at all different levels.
For me, it's actually the joy of my life and a privilege to be able to see this
athletic body position.
Because I see the transformation that happens with kids. Something happens to them when they learn something new and kind of hard, and then they realize, oh, I think I can actually do this.
Through snow sports, the next generation learning the important values of community, passion, and well-being, all while soaking in the great outdoors.
I've made a lot of friends that I probably would have never met.
It's made my life better because it's like a huge part of my life now because I do it and I think it all the time and I love the sport.
I just want to make my dreams come true and I think CCSC can do that for me.
So please allow me to introduce you to Beth Major, Nordic co-director of the group, and Alec Johnson, who's a member. We'll get to you, Alec, in just a moment because he's excited. Let's talk with you, Beth. It's been 7 years. You've had hundreds of students, and it just keeps growing. What's the future of CCSD?
Oh my gosh, I think the future is absolutely, we can't even see because what we've done in the past 7 years has been just miraculous. And as a coach for CCSC, I just couldn't be more proud of what CCSC and Crystal Mountain, without whom we couldn't have done anything, what we've achieved, reaching over 1,000 students.
We love it.
Every year.
From all across the state.
Exactly.
But one of them is right here. Tell me, you love this group, and you said this is my time to shine. You've got your sight big. Olympics?
I do. I really would really appreciate the CCSC's help and Crystal Crystal really helped me to get to where I am today, and I think they can push me to even become a D1 athlete at a college, and hopefully I can make it to the U.S. ski team.
You never know, right? It could all happen here. Thank you all for being up with us. Buck, too, you have been great all morning. Thank you, CCSD, and thank you, Crystal Mountain. It feels so good to be home.
Thanks, Ginger. So from a ski club to the Sunshine State, now it's time to head to Florida with Victor Oquendo bringing us a New Smyrna Beach and showing us some wildlife being released right back into the ocean.
From Canaveral National Seashore, we have something special for you this morning. These 4 sea turtles, bongo, piano, recorder, and tuba, all named after musical instruments. They were rescued and rehabilitated by the Turtle Hospital in the Florida Keys in Marathon. And in just minutes, they are going to be released. But before we do that, we want to tell you more about this amazing facility.
Molly coming through.
It's a heartwarming reunion with the sea. A critical second chance made possible by the team at Marathon, Florida's Turtle Hospital.
The world-renowned Turtle Hospital was the first licensed veterinary turtle hospital in the world.
Currently, 5 species of sea turtles found in U.S. waters are protected on the endangered species list, meaning every turtle life saved here has a direct impact on overall species survival.
Do you think Thunder's liking this right now or not so much?
I think it's probably tickling his belly.
He's tickling a little bit. What does the Turtle Hospital specialize in?
Our mission is to rescue, rehabilitate, and return threatened and endangered sea turtles to the wild. Sea turtles are what we call a keystone species. What happens to them is eventually going to happen to all of life. So sea turtles are very important to keep an eye on. This is an emergency room.
Can we take a look?
You can take a look. And if you were a sick sea turtle, this is where you would come into the hospital.
What does the process usually look like when a sick sea turtle arrives?
So they come in and we want to make sure they're stable. That's the first thing. Make sure they're breathing, just like in a human hospital. Then we're going to weigh them. We're going to collect their blood right away and start running blood chemistry. We're going to get photographs and measurements. We have a turtle coming in now.
This is didgeridoo, a Kemp's Ridley turtle, the world's most endangered. It's one of several arriving from New England being treated for cold stun, a condition similar to hypothermia. After x-rays,
and we're also looking at the joints to make sure she's not developing any kind of bone infection.
It undergoes a tissue regenerative class 4 laser treatment and wound care.
Bye, didgeridoo. Feel better.
Betty's hope is that what starts here extends far beyond these walls. By educating the surrounding community,
welcome in, guys.
They become a first line of defense.
What we do is educate people that are coming to the Keys to visit. They're the same people boating and fishing and going out on our water. Since we've increased educational programs, 6 out of 10 of our rescue calls come from people that have been through the centers.
Over the last 40 years, the Turtle Hospital has been responsible for more than 3,000 successful releases and counting.
And we've made our way into the water here in New Smyrna Beach, joined by Betty and Corey from the Turtle Hospital. Got 2 of the turtles here. You guys ready?
We're ready. You guys ready?
Let's do this. Let's get a countdown going.
All right.
Make our way into a little bit deeper water. Ready, guys? 3, 2, 1, go for it. Oh my goodness.
Tuba.
That's tuba?
Tuba.
And the other one is?
Recorder.
Recorder, there they go. Current got them a little bit.
They're good, they're good.
Betty, while we grab the other two, if you could tell us all the amazing work that you guys do at the animal hospital, at the turtle hospital. What's this moment like for you guys?
This is the high. This is why we do what we do, and this is the future for the species right here going out.
This is incredible. Let's go ahead and get these guys going. One more countdown. 3, 2, 1, go for it. And there they go. Guys, just to be clear, the water's cold here today, but they're totally fine in this, right?
They're totally fine. So the Gulf Stream comes close to shore here, and the Gulf Stream is warm. So that is why we're here at New Smyrna Beach. And this is the furthest south that this species of sea turtle in this life stage is found. So they're going to be great. So
Betty, thank you so much.
What a beautiful moment seeing that turtle release there. Thank you, Victor. Coming up, so much more on our journey across America as Michael takes us to his home state of Texas.
We are back now with our journey across America as we visit every state in the order that they joined the Union. We're on number 28, Michael's home state of Texas. Michael had a chance to visit the Dark Sky Reserve outside Big Bend National Park, where the sky is known as the darkest in the lower 48.
You know, standing up here with this red light, it's like we're on Mars.
Yeah, it really is.
And once the sun came out, he brought us inside the 800-acre national park.
If I were standing here where I am right now a couple of 100 million years ago, I'd be really old and I'd be underwater. That's because this desert was once an entire ocean, but now it's dried out and home to some of the most incredible natural wonders in the world. A remote wilderness carved with rocky limestone canyons, a vast sprawling desert dotted with vibrant prickly pears, ash fields and ancient lava formations streaked with all the colors of the rainbow. This is Big Bend National Park, over 800,000 acres of unspoiled natural wonder deep in the heart of Texas.
Well, if they named it right, Big Bend.
No doubt.
So what do you think? What do you think makes Big Bend so special in your eyes?
Well, it's got to be the skies, you know.
Tour guide Erica Little has been boating and hiking these parts for nearly 2 decades.
A lot of people don't realize when they come here it's going to be so quiet. The solitude is something that you come to appreciate, and then of course the beautiful canyons and the great hiking.
Yeah.
It's all in all an experience to behold.
Santa Elena Canyon is Big Bend's centerpiece. The sheer cliff faces towering 1,500 feet above the Rio Grande.
It's really beautiful. I mean, the water, like a fescue grass, how it just drops dramatically. Just imagine at some point this just opened up to create all of this. These be together.
Downriver at the opposite end of the park, Boquillas Canyon.
The Rio Grande is the lifeblood here in the Chihuahuan Desert. It is essential for our ecosystems. On the Mexican side, we have quite a few rural villages raising livestock along the Rio Grande.
Here, we see artifacts from some of the earlier inhabitants of this land.
The Humano, Chisos, Apache, and Comanche were the first indigenous people to live here. So the morteros here were created by grinding seed pods, legumes down with the rock, much like you might call a mano, or mortar and pestle. And over time, this would wear into the earth and create these natural basins and bowls.
A thread through time that began hundreds of millions of years ago when this region was covered by an inland ocean.
Big Bend is a geologist's paradise. You can see evidence of many major geologic events, just like this trail we are walking across, a mountain of volcanic ash through fields of lava blocks and lava bombs.
Watch out for the plant life here in Mule Ears Spring.
This plant is known as a lechuguilla. This is the indicator species of the Chihuahuan Desert. That means it's only found here.
Cacti covered with barbs, spines, and sharp blades. They're designed to reach out and grab you.
This plant is known as dog cholla, and if you step on this or brush up against the plant, an entire segment will break off and stick to you.
As challenging as life in the desert can be, it seems like a distant dream while we float along part of its 300 miles of river.
I love all the different colors of the rock.
Yeah, the limestone has what we call a desert varnish, so you can see the darker colors, and that's where, when it rains, minerals will precipitate out and then have an oxidative reaction and change the colors.
But yeah, you can see all the limestone, so many different colors and textures, it seems like. Beautiful. It just keeps, when you're down here, it never is infinite. It's like, it never stops going.
I could stare at these canyon walls a lifetime.
So, Erica, what is the best part of touring the park by river?
Well, as you can see, the rock cliff walls just drop sheerly straight into the river, so you get this nice, intimate, personal experience as you're paddling.
I like that, intimate. It is an intimate experience. And it's so peaceful, so quiet, so relaxing, and it's kind of like a solitude to even paddling.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You may have a convert here. I may be moving back to Texas, everybody.
We've got more canyons.
Hey, you have room for another river guide?
We'll train you up.
Let's head now to Iowa. Mary Bruce is bringing us to the University of Iowa with a look at what makes the Hawkeye State unique.
This is a state that is near and dear to my heart and where I have spent a lot of time because of its key role in presidential politics. Of course, the Iowa caucus is serving as that critical launching pad for the presidential race every 4 years, but there is so much more that Iowa has to offer. From the lush hills of the west to the forested bluffs of the east, river valleys, sweeping plains, and fertile farmland create the rich landscape of Iowa, which became the 29th state in 1846. A farming legacy has endured for generations, known for the rows of corn that span the state, growing more than 2.7 billion bushels a year. They also produce more pigs and eggs than any other state. Iowans' drive for innovation may be the best thing since sliced bread, which was invented by an Iowan, along with the gas tractor, the modern trampoline, and Rice Krispie treats. And the first digital computer. Iowa likes to go big, home to the largest truck stop in the world. Every year, bikers from around the world spend a week pedaling more than 400 miles across the state on the world's biggest bike ride, RAGBRAI. Though nothing beats a visit to the state fair. The biggest event in Iowa has a little something for everyone, whether it's the famous 600-pound butter cow or a pork chop on a stick. The most famous piece of American art, American Gothic, painted by Iowa native Grant Wood. Lots of other famous faces hail from the Hawkeye State, from President Herbert Hoover to basketball star Caitlin Clark.
3,000 career points!
But for those trying to capture some of the nostalgia of the American classic Field of Dreams,
Is this heaven? No.
There's nowhere quite like it.
It's Iowa.
They don't call this the Hawkeye State for nothing, and we are lucky to be joined this morning by the University of Iowa's Raptor Project that helps care for these birds in need and work on important conservation efforts. We have Dave Conrads, Katie Ibsen, the director and assistant director, and of course this is Shiloh and Hercules. Thank you guys so much for being with us this morning. And Katie, tell us a little bit, about these birds and the work that you guys do together.
Yeah, so we provide educational programs to the community with our 13 educational ambassador raptors. This is Shiloh, the turkey vulture. A very important bird to have on our planet due to their cleanup services. And then we have Hercules, the red-tailed hawk, who is the official hawk, or the most common hawk we have here in the Hawkeye State. If you'd like to learn more about our birds, visit our website.
I like how you call them cleanup efforts. That's nice. That's a good way of describing it. They're being very well behaved this morning, I have to say. And Dave, you also do a lot of work with the nation's bird, with the bald eagle.
We do. We're actually part of a program called the Winter Raptor Survey with the Hawk Migration Association. And even this last week, we did a survey up and down the Iowa River, which you can see behind us, and counted 372 bald eagles wintering here.
Wow, that's amazing. You guys are doing such important work as well with the conservation efforts in addition to all of this.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys so much. I'm amazed that they have stayed calm.
Great job, Mary. Next on our trip across the country is our 30th state. Lori Bergamato is taking a trip across America's Dairyland, Wisconsin.
When most of us think about Wisconsin, we think cheese, beer, and of course, the Green Bay Packers. And that's all true, but there is so much more. Take a look.
From its bordering two Great Lakes and the Mississippi, to golfing at the 500-plus golf courses, or splashing in the water park capital of the world, where there's one cow for every 5 residents. Welcome to Wisconsin, becoming America's 30th state in 1848. Native culture is prominent here, with 11 sovereign nations. Craving something sweet? The first ice cream sundae was scooped in 2 rivers in 1881. A small wooden shed in 1903 created the first Harley-Davidson. Sports are big here. There's the Milwaukee Bucks, Green Bay Packers, and college staple, the Wisconsin Badgers. When you tailgate, have a bit of cheese. There's over 600 varieties. And sip Milwaukee's Miller or a Leinenkugel from Chippewa Falls.
We're gonna do it. Give us any chance.
Does this brewery look familiar? Laverne and Shirley was set here too. And born here, Tony Shalhoub.
You have no resume.
They hired me anyway. And his co-star, Rachel Brosnahan.
We are the music makers. And we are the dreamers of the dream.
And the incomparable Gene Wilder, who portrayed the original Willy Wonka.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination.
From pop culture to the biggest names in Hollywood, Wisconsin shines bright.
Into your imagination.
Coming up, so much more to see in our journey across the country, bringing the sights of California's Pacific Coast, and we're hitting the road with a NASCAR champ in Kansas. Welcome back as we take a journey across the country in celebration of the nation's 250th birthday. Number 31 on the list is California, which has 840 miles of gorgeous coastline. And Becky Worley explored the Pacific Coast Highway, including Eureka.
I'm here at the Redwood Skywalk in the Sequoia Park Zoo, and I know people think of California as our cities, LA, San Fran, but really the rugged and wild side of California is amazing, and the people here show a lot of resilience. You mentioned the 840 miles of coastline, and you can drive almost all of it. But in 2023, a landslide closed a huge portion of the Pacific Coast Highway, and it isolated entire communities and put the Californians that live there to the test.
Driving the breathtaking Big Sur coastline came to a halt on January 14, 2023. A massive landslide closed the Pacific Coast Highway to the south, and on the other side, Deachen's Big Sur Inn, cut off from a vital source of visitors. Started by Helmuth and Helen Deachen as a horse and buggy camp in the 20s.
They come here because it's quiet. They come here because it gets them out of the hustle and bustle of daily life. We have no Wi-Fi, and that's on purpose.
The 3-year road closure, brutal for business, but Deachen's, with a popular restaurant, scraped by, in part thanks to locals.
It's definitely one of the most tranquil places to be.
Then last month, after a massive engineering and construction effort, finally all of the Pacific Coast Highway is open.
People are coming back, people are here, people are calling for advanced reservations. The restaurant is back to being busy.
A good friend of mine recommended, and she said, you have to go to Deachen's. It's just the best place ever down there.
But it's not just businesses bouncing back in Big Sur. This coast was once home to some 20,000 sea otters, but
when the Russian fur trade came in the 1800s, they hunted their numbers so low that we thought they had gone extinct.
Then in 1938, a small group of just 50 otters was discovered. And today, they're coming back with help from the Monterey Bay Aquarium's Sea Otter Surrogacy Program.
We had a female that was in our care around the same time that a pup came in, and the female's name was Tula, and we were able to pair her with this pup and see that she immediately formed this bond. And she took that pup as if it were her own, grooming it, sharing food with it.
Since then, they've rescued and released more than 80 lost pups and hundreds of injured or sick adult otters. That struggling population of just 50, now at 3,000 and counting. This is Elkhorn Slough. We're a little bit north of Monterey. It's got birds, we've seen seals, and there are otters everywhere. Woo! They also contribute to something locals call otternomics. Just in this small town, ecotourism accounts for about 300 jobs and $3 million in revenue annually. And the otters in California serve as something called a keystone species. Eating 25% of their body weight a day, they keep invasive sea urchins from destroying the kelp. Every time I see an otter, it's come up with a clamp and it's cracking a stone against it and then eating whatever's inside. It's like National Geographic out here. Showing the rugged resilience of California's Central Coast in all its many forms.
California's beauty is amazing. I mean, these trees around us, some of them as old as 2,000 years on this planet and 30 stories tall.
Thank you so much, Becky. Let's head now to Minnesota. Rebecca Jarvis is taking us to her home state to show us what she loves about it.
While it's dubbed the land of 10,000 lakes, Minnesota actually has almost 12,000. Named from the Dakota Sioux word meaning sky-tinted water, it's no surprise that water skiing was invented here more than 100 years ago. But this state has no shortage of innovation as the birthplace of major businesses like Target, General Mills, and 3M, the company that invented the Post-it note right here back in 1968.
I invented Post-its.
You're kidding. And 10 years before that, music legend Prince was born in the Twin Cities. The North Star State is also home to Bob Dylan. Hey, Mr. Tambourine. And Oscar winner Judy Garland. Minnesota joined the Union in 1858 as the 32nd state, but its famous state fair started even earlier, debuting in 1855, but technically as a territorial fair. Not to mention, Minnesota's Mall of America is the largest in the U.S., drawing nearly 40 million visitors a year. But it wouldn't be a trip to the Gopher State without visiting one of the breathtaking state parks covering more than 200,000 acres. So whether you're enjoying endless nature or biting into a famous Juicy Lucy burger, you're guaranteed to encounter the classic hospitality of Minnesota nice.
Our next stop, the great state of Oregon. Becky Worley showing us all the Beaver State has to offer, whether you're the outdoorsy type, maybe you're a big movie buff, or maybe just a sportsman at it.
Welcome to the Pacific Wonderland, rightfully given the nickname for its breathtaking natural beauty. Home to deep, dark, temperate rainforests. Crater Lake, the nation's deepest lake. Mount Hood, the third most climbed mountain in the world.
Pretty crazy, huh?
And the picturesque Portland Japanese Garden. Oregon, the western destination for explorers Lewis and Clark. It's known as the Beaver State because the fur trade brought so many trappers here. It became the 33rd state admitted to the Union in 1859. Are you feeling the love, Oregon? The state's birthday is on Valentine's Day, after all. It's known to be one of the most active states, with Oregon the first to establish the Scenic Bikeway program. Also home to Phil Knight, the inventor of modern running shoes, who made the first pair of Nikes using a waffle iron. Beaverton, Oregon, home to Nike, the world's largest supplier of athletic gear, and the just do it mentality.
Let's just enjoy Portland.
Speaking of native Oregonians, the state gave us The Simpsons creator, Matt Groening.
Oregon Ducks all day long.
Actress Caitlin Olsen, and GMA's own executive producer, Simone Swink.
That's it, guys. That's it. 3 rocks out there.
As for the silver screen, the state serves as the filming location of fan favorites like The Goonies and Animal House. And anyone hungry? How about an Oregon-born snack like tater tots or corn dogs? Who knew?
Next stop, Kansas, with Rhiannon Alley checking out Kansas Speedway and even hitting the road with a NASCAR champ. And if that ride wasn't enough, she's showing us what else the Sunflower State has to offer.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
No place like home, and no place like Kansas, a state where you can truly take flight. Amelia Earhart hails from here, and so does the city of Wichita, nicknamed the air capital of the world because of the robust aircraft industry located there. The Sunflower State has a natural funny bone, too.
Beautiful, Gloria, just like my Mitchell.
From Modern Family's Eric Stone Street to Paul Rudd.
They've done studies, 60% of the time, it works every time.
to Vivian Vance, famous for playing the witty Ethel Mertz on I Love Lucy. Civil rights is part of the 34th state's DNA, too. One of the first successful sit-ins at a lunch counter taking place in Wichita. And the landmark Supreme Court case, Brown v. the Board of Education, declaring the end to segregated public schools originated from a lawsuit in Topeka.
You guys kept talking about White Castle last night so much, it made me start to crave it, too.
And if you're craving a little White Castle, or perhaps a slice of Pizza Hut pizza.
Stop it, I'm starving!
You can get your fill here, the birthplace of these popular fast food brands. You can also find that famous Kansas City barbecue, burnt ends and all.
That is the one thing I haven't had a chance to do yet on this visit is eat some Kansas City barbecue. So I'm going to do that after the show. But I want to tell you, in addition to Amelia Earhart being the first woman to solo fly across the Atlantic, there have been a lot of firsts for women here in the state of Kansas. The first Black person to ever win an Oscar was Hattie McDaniel. She won for Best Supporting Actress for Gone with the Wind. Also, the first woman who was ever elected mayor here in the United States was in Argonia, Kansas. That was all the way back in 1887. So Kansas is really rich in history, and it has been so much fun to share all of that with you guys.
We have been keeping Rhiannon Alley busy, so she's also taking us to our 35th state, West Virginia. Rhiannon went to the town of Milton to check out the Blenko Glass Company. It's a family-run business that's been operating there for more than a century.
West Virginia, as the John Denver song goes, almost heaven, West Virginia. And one thing that West Virginians are really proud of is the Blenko Glass Company. They are family-owned. They have been around for over a century. They make the most beautiful blown glass creations. Look at this mushroom. And we took a behind-the-scenes look at how they're made. Take a look.
Nestled along the Mud River in rural West Virginia, color and heat come alive.
Here goes.
Generations of glass workers have been molding and blowing glass at Blenko Glass Factory in Milton.
See the glass get a little bit darker with this color?
Carrying on the traditions of hand-blown glass for over 100 years. The company still family-owned and run by the great-grandson of the founder.
Lisa is using a file to put the lips on the water bottle.
Blenko came to Milton in 1921 and has become the heartbeat of this region. But its reach has gone much further. Its glass can be found all over the world in institutions from the White House to the stained glass windows of cathedrals, along with the Pro Football Hall of Fame and the Air Force Academy, to the hands of musicians at the CMA Awards and into the homes of millions. Hundreds of glass factories used to dot the state, but now there are less than 5.
We're trying to keep the Appalachian glass culture alive, right?
Their signature piece is their famous 384 water bottles, originally made for Frigidaire in 1938, and still endures as their best-selling item. From the practical to the whimsical to the curious, they are still using traditional sand-to-hand methods.
These are the same implements and same tools and same techniques that have been used for over 2,000 years to make glass.
Starting with their own special recipe mixed in-house.
Everything that we use is made in America.
Through their apprenticeship program, veteran glassblowers are teaching a new generation of glass workers the ancient craft.
We take melted sand that is at 2,000 degrees, which is a quarter temperature of the surface of the sun, and we make these beautiful vessels out of it.
And once you start,
Something addictive about it, just getting to play with glass every day.
This is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Blenko, known for their unique and vibrant colors.
Our tagline is the most colorful name in glass.
Each piece handcrafted one at a time, making every one just a little unique.
I'm really doing something that I love doing, and it's being sent off to somebody who loves it. So that's an incredible feeling.
And you can just hear the pride that these workers take in their work. I am here now with the VP of Manufacturing. This is David Wirtz. David, you guys have made a special vase just for GMA that we're going to share with our viewers in just a moment. But first, walk us through how it's done.
Sure, absolutely. So what we're seeing here is Mr. Perry Bays blocking or cooling the outside of our glass. Here comes Mr. Jim Atkins with a preheated piece, and we're going to go ahead and blow it in that mold.
And all of this, this is cool because all of this is hand blown.
Exactly
There are
right.
no machines,
None.
so there is room for error here.
There's tons of room for error. In fact, you get 6 humans working together, you're going to have lots of room for that error. So what we see right here is Mr. Perry just hit his foot and told our mold holder here the exact moment to open it up.
And you saw it still looks a little bit like Jell-O, so you got to let it
That's
cool
right.
down,
That's
right?
right. Everything's
And this is the
temperature
third and final step we have here. We see the vase, and what is he doing to the top?
So we're adding a lip wrap here. Mr. Isaiah has brought a cobalt lip wrap over to Mr. Chris, who's our finisher on this team, and he's going to apply that and reheat it here in just a moment to build it into the piece.
And these are all different colors, even though it all comes out looking the same initially.
Exactly right. So on the pipe, it's a totally different color than by the time it actually cools and anneals. This actually has 3 different colors
Look
altogether.
at this. This is the final product. This is what it looks like when it's all done. Look how beautiful this is. What is the name of this?
This is the Good Morning West Virginia piece.
Good Morning, West Virginia.
Yep.
You used to actually work here on the floor, but you said this is a really tough job.
I wasn't tough enough to do it, no ma'am. So you had to have a lot of grit, you have to have passion, otherwise you don't show up at 6 a.m. when it's 0 degrees or when it's 120 degrees. You have to be tough and passionate.
Tough and passionate, and this is the beautiful products that come out of this.
Coming up on our journey across America, soaring to new heights at the United States Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs.
And we are back now with our 50 states in 50 weeks. Let's take a journey across America and celebrate 250 years of our nation. And the next stop, Nevada, with Becky Worley, bringing us to one of the Silver State's most recognizable landmarks and biggest tourist attractions.
It is an engineering marvel behind me, and it's a testament to Nevada's people and its place in the West. Rising 726 feet over the Nevada and Arizona border, a cultural icon cemented in Hollywood films like Superman, Transformers, and who could forget this moment in Vegas Vacation?
Ellen?
No, there's no door that falls out of the side of the face of the dam.
This is the Hoover Dam. With the Colorado River's catastrophic and unpredictable flooding in the 1900s, Americans in the Southwest needed help. So in 1921, Herbert Hoover proposed a dam. Fast forward nearly a decade later, and construction begins, bringing 21,000 men to the area outside of Las Vegas to build this now American icon.
Hoover Dam really symbolizes American pride and strength. Each state had supplied materials to the dam construction from their specific state. It is like America's dam.
With it, a light in the Great Depression.
The impact that the dam has for day-to-day life is it's really about that water, first and foremost, is allowing us to deliver water to over 20 million people for that use and about 1 million acres of farmland. Matter of fact, about 80% of winter vegetables come from irrigation from the Colorado River for all of the United States.
The amount of concrete in this colossal structure is enough for a 2-lane road stretching from Seattle all the way to Miami. 90 years later, the Hoover Dam remains an engineering marvel, drawing 4 million tourists a year.
We're about 300 feet underwater of the lake.
GMA's cameras invited behind the scenes where only a few have ever been.
Right now, about 3,000 cubic feet per second of water is flowing underneath my feet down to the generators. And there's about 900 5-gallon buckets worth of water passing under my feet every second right now, heading towards our generator to generate power.
That water flowing into this room full of turbines to spin the shafts for power.
It's spinning what's called a rotor, and on the ends of the rotor are a bunch of magnets taller than me. Those magnets spin past a copper bar, and that's what generates electricity. That rotor weighs about 1 million pounds and is spinning at 180 RPMs. So the power's going into the grid to California, Nevada, and Arizona power customers. It's about enough power for 300 to 350,000 homes a year.
Crazy fact about the dam, at its base, it's 660 feet wide. That's 2 football fields wide of solid concrete. And then you go up 726 feet to the top, and it's only 45 feet wide of concrete. Truly, you guys, one of the most amazing engineering marvels I have ever seen.
Thanks, Becky. Let's head now to our 37th state, Nebraska. Alex Perez headed to Omaha to explore the Cornhusker State.
The mouth-watering sizzle of an Omaha steak, the comforting bite of a juicy Reuben sandwich, and a refreshing sip of Kool-Aid. Oh, yeah! These delicious American delights all hail from America's 37th state, Nebraska. Archaeologists trace back Nebraska's land to more than 13,000 years ago. Native Americans called these lands home, and many still live here today. As part of the Louisiana Purchase, France sold Nebraska to the U.S. in 1803, and it became a state in 1867. African-American leader and civil rights activist Malcolm X was born here. Nebraska's flat, fertile land, part of a stretch called America's Breadbasket, a top producer of corn and livestock. And speaking of corn, Nebraska Cornhuskers are a sports staple. And so are the College World Series in Omaha. Don't forget Nebraska's twist on Stonehenge called Carhenge in Alliance. And if you love a great movie, Hilary Swank.
There's absolutely no way I'm doing this.
Gabrielle Union.
I'm captain.
And before we go,
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Marlon Brando, all called Nebraska home.
Time now to check out Colorado. It's home to the United States Air Force Academy, and Stephanie Ramos took a trip there and even got a chance to fly.
So we are at the top of Pikes Peak Mountain, taking in some really incredible views here in Colorado, but it is home to the United States Air Force Academy, founded in 1954, and they have been shaping leaders for the skies and beyond ever since then. And it's just truly remarkable what they do there. And as this Army Reserve officer, I actually got a chance to take a flight. Take a look.
These cadets are undertaking a 4-year mission here at the United States Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. Before they take to the skies, they learn combat skills.
What do we do when someone underhooks?
And water training.
These cadets are practicing the 5-meter egress scenario. Let's say they have to get out of their C-17 that has crashed in the ocean. So they have to jump out of their aircraft and swim underwater.
Also developing new technology in their cyber laboratory. Learning to execute plans with military precision.
Here, they pour their heart and soul into our development, and it's been just incredible. And the mentorship you receive here transcends all barriers that you may have.
But for those cadets that have their hearts set on becoming pilots, the journey begins here in the flight simulator. I met 4th-year cadet pilot instructor Ray Rosenmerkel for an actual ride.
Hey, good morning. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Okay, so what are we doing? What are we doing here today?
So today, we're going to go do a glider flight.
And I've always wanted to take flight training classes. This is my chance to actually get in the glider. When did you know that you wanted to be a pilot?
Man, I kind of knew from the day I could walk. I kind of had my eyes to the sky since I was a youngin'.
First, I change into my flight suit. Next, a safety briefing and final checks.
So we're good to fly.
Okay,
ready to go?
Let's do it.
All right, awesome.
We make our way out to the runway.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Then we are up and away. Our first maneuver, a nose-high stall.
I'm going to pull the nose up. We'll bring that nose all the way up.
Okay.
And I'm going to hold it. We're going to feel the
word.
full stall. The nose is going to drop.
Oh, okay.
And we're recovered.
Then we go into some steep turns.
Here comes our bank. There's 2 Gs. And we'll roll out.
That's incredible.
All right.
That's incredible that this little thing can do all of this.
And a spiral dive.
There's 3.
Woo! Okay. All right.
All right.
I got a good feel for it. I've got a sense.
Awesome.
Okay.
Finally, it's time to land.
Come down nice and smooth.
And now that we're back on solid ground, I can see why it's so thrilling.
Welcome back to Earth.
4,000 cadets at the Academy choosing to serve by following in the footsteps and flight plans of those that flew before them.
Ray, I hear it's tradition for every first-time flyer to give their pilot instructor $1. So here is your $1.
Amazing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I've got something for you. I'll do this. Awesome. And
something for me. The flight was enough. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much.
So, yeah, congratulations on your first glider flight ever.
This was amazing. Thank you so much for the experience.
Absolutely.
I'm bringing this back, GMA. These cadets are truly some of the best and brightest in the military. And just for a little bit of background on the dollar ride. So it's a military tradition for the student pilot to symbolically purchase their first flight. So that's where that $1 comes in. I gave the $1 to the instructor, and then he can do whatever he wants with it. He can sign it. He can turn it into a little origami, but it basically, it commemorates the rite of passage. So just a really, really neat experience, and just a really big part. The Academy is a really big part of Colorado here.
What an incredible experience. Thanks for that, Stephanie.
We have a lot more coming up, heading to Mount Rushmore with some of the hidden history of the famous tourist attraction.
And so much more from the beauty of Big Sky Country, the whale watching in Washington State. And we'll be right back.
Good morning. We're celebrating July 4th weekend, visiting all 50 states. And we're in the final stretch, from the land of the sunflowers to the slopes of Sun Valley, celebrating 250 years of America.
Now we're reaching new heights.
We've got Abraham Lincoln's nose right over there.
Getting rare access to the top of Mount Rushmore, trekking to the top of the Tetons.
Oh, wow.
And riding high above Utah.
With just 12 states to go, there's still so much to see. Whale watching in Washington, inside the spectacular Antelope Canyon of Arizona, and the final frontiers, the sunrise of Alaska and the shores of Hawaii, as we journey across America.
Good morning, and thanks for being with us this holiday weekend as we journey across America.
For the last year, GMA has been counting down to the country's 250th birthday by visiting all 50 states.
Let's go now to our 39th state, North Dakota. Will Reeve is bringing us a stunning new presidential library.
Got a whole bunch of friends here. It is a good day in the Badlands. The sun is rising over Theodore Roosevelt National Park and the new presidential library that is opening on July 4th. Whole lot to look forward to there, and a whole lot to learn about Teddy Roosevelt, our 26th president. He came out to North Dakota in a time that he needed to transform, and it changed who he was, changed who he became, and changed the country. So let's learn a little bit more about our 26th president.
Surrounded by rugged beauty, with rock formations dating back millions of years, canyons painted in red, brown, green, and yellow, breathing life into a terrain kissed by the sun. President Theodore Roosevelt famously said, "Here is your country. Cherish these natural wonders. Cherish the natural resources." Inside North Dakota's Badlands, a place Native Americans have called home for thousands of years, is Theodore Roosevelt National Park, visited by upwards of 1 million people every year. And now, for the first time, 125 years since the start of his presidency, Teddy's legacy comes alive. A brand new presidential library emerging from the landscape. The state was deeply personal to Roosevelt, who said, "I have always said I would not have been president had it not been for my experience in North Dakota."
Theodore Roosevelt was a conservationist, an adventurer, someone who was constantly pushing the boundaries of what's next for America.
Roosevelt wasn't born in North Dakota, but he credits the state with reviving him. TR lost his mother and wife on the same day in the same home from separate illnesses. He thought his life was over, but years later he went on to become the youngest president in history at just 42 years old. A visionary who viewed the presidency as a steward of the people, TR would go on to build the Panama Canal, introduce sweeping consumer regulations to break up corporate monopolies, and eventually win a Nobel Prize. In 1906, he passed the Pure Food and Drug Act along with the Meat Inspection Act, bringing the first federal regulations on food and medicine. Widely considered our country's first great conservationist president, Curators at the library say Roosevelt believed forests were managed sustainably, rivers preserved for future energy needs, and wildlife protected for the enjoyment of generations to come. GMA invited In the Arena, a nod to that famous 1910 speech titled Citizenship in a Republic, about courage, skill, and tenacity even in the face of failure.
And I am joined now by the CEO of the Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library, Ed O'Keefe. Ed, thank you for having us here. Thank you for joining us on GMA to celebrate North Dakota and celebrate Teddy Roosevelt and this new library that is opening. We're so excited to see it in full flight when it opens on July 4th. But to talk about Teddy Roosevelt, he was the first conservation president. And this library that you're in charge of, it's about conservation, about conserving a legacy, an eye toward the past and the present, but also toward the future.
Well, we look to the past to understand the present and make a better future. And that's what we want to do here at the TR Library. We want kids and families to get off their screens and get out into nature. You know, in TR's time, he was depressed and dejected. He came out here to the Badlands to heal and recover. And today, you know, we want families to get out and hike and bike and go on a picnic together and be in nature and experience this incredible place, the Badlands, just as TR did.
Okay, a lot of people know little bits and pieces about TR. I love the fact that the teddy bear is named after him. A lot of people also know the man in the arena, that famous passage that comes from a broader speech, Citizenship in a Republic. It really has a place in the culture today. There's a connection even to modern times with some of our biggest stars.
Yeah, I mean, what do LeBron James, Liam Hemsworth, and Miley Cyrus have in common?
They're all great.
They're all great, and they all love TR. Okay. LeBron puts In the Arena on his shoes before every game, cites that amazing speech in TR as his role model. You know, Miley Cyrus has a tattoo of the In the Arena speech shared with Liam, her former boyfriend, on her forearm. I mean, it's crazy how relevant this speech is. It challenges you to not be a critic, to be a part of the solution. And that's what we want. We want better leaders, citizens, and conservationists. We want people to get in the arena and be the change they want to see in the world.
Absolutely. And you mentioned in a time of tragedy and adversity, TR came out here to heal, to transform, and then become who he ultimately became for all ages. And you say, in your experience out here, you find out in the Badlands and in this part of this beautiful country, you find people going on similar journeys.
Yeah, it's really remarkable. Every time I've been to Theodore Roosevelt National Park, there's someone who's going through a tough time. They've been through a divorce, or they've got a health crisis in their family, and they find solace and peace in nature. I mean, nature was Theodore Roosevelt's classroom. It was his teacher and healer, and that remains true today. I mean, I think, you know, so many families want to get out and be together. They want to go on a hike. They go on a bike ride. They want to be out in nature, and the same quality that TR discovered when he was here in the Badlands is still magical here today. I mean, when you're in the East, you feel the presence of Theodore Roosevelt's ghost. When you're here in the West, in the Badlands, you feel Theodore Roosevelt's spirit.
Ah, that's a nice line. All right, cool. I bet you'll be saying that to all the visitors who come through this beautiful place when it opens on July 4th, America's birthday. What an exciting moment for you, for North Dakota, the 39th state. Thank you, Ed, for joining us. We wish you still worked with us at ABC News.
You know, hey.
I used to be a producer here.
I mean,
thank you, Will. Time now for state number 40, South Dakota. John Carl spent time there growing up and is bringing us to Mount Rushmore to show us its hidden history.
It is great to be back here in the Black Hills of South Dakota, and we have a real treat for you this morning. We got to go on top of not one, but two different mountain carvings and a chance to see Mount Rushmore in a way that few people have ever seen it.
It's America's shrine of democracy, attracting more than 2 million visitors to South Dakota every year. But there's a hidden side of Mount Rushmore. Behind the enormous granite faces, an unfinished piece of history that few have ever seen up close.
We have to be very careful in what we show you on our journey. This is a highly secure federal area.
We got special permission, rarely granted, to take the steep journey to the summit.
We're on our way to the top of Mount Rushmore. There's no real path here. We're just going higher and higher.
Up top, a view that just takes your breath away.
Wow. I mean, this is just incredible. We've got Abraham Lincoln's nose right over there.
Escorting us is Blaine Kortemeyer. Every year, he repels over the faces to inspect for cracks.
Does it ever get old for you to be up here?
Never.
I mean, never.
We're on top of Mount Rushmore.
In 2005, Blaine was part of a team to actually power wash Mount Rushmore, a first.
What did that feel like? Exceptional experience. Once in a lifetime.
No guardrails up here.
George Washington's head, but we cannot get too close to the edge because that is a very steep drop.
And behind the heads, the hidden remains of that unfinished project, the Hall of Records.
This was going to be the place that stored America's most treasured documents, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Gettysburg Address. We're all going to be here on display.
They dug this tunnel into solid granite while the heads were still being carved. Not finished, but under here, something added in 1998. Beneath that capstone, a titanium vault that holds a teak wood box. In it, a time capsule for the ages, containing copies of America's founding documents etched in porcelain. Mount Rushmore sits in the heart of the Black Hills, in what was sacred territory for the Lakota Sioux, illegally taken by the United States before the 1880 gold rush. The Lakota story is being carved in stone 20 miles from Rushmore, a memorial to Crazy Horse, the great Lakota warrior who defeated Custer.
So Crazy Horse was a young warrior. He led one of the greatest defeats for the Lakota people in the Battle of Greasy Grass, also known as the Battle of Little Bighorn.
I'm walking on what will be Crazy Horse's outstretched arm, his index finger over there pointing to his native tribal lands. The scale is immense. When this mountain carving is done, it will be 30 times the surface area of Mount Rushmore.
Constructed on private land without a penny of government funds, work on Crazy Horse began in 1948.
Even though there are challenging and struggling times of our ancestors, we today are still here. Our culture still exists, and I think that's a big part. So when people visit all over the world, they want to learn more about the original people of this land. And so here at Crazy Horse Memorial, we get to showcase that.
2 memorials carved in stone, both central to America's story.
It was a thrill and a true privilege to see those 2 mountain climbing carvings up close. It's something that I first did when I was just 11 years old. In fact, I believe you have there a picture of me, faded black and white photograph on top of Lincoln's head when I was 11. It was a rare treat back then, too. In fact, I had to skip school to make that climb, and I was not allowed to tell anybody what I had done.
Thank you, John. Coming up, the beauty of Big Sky Country and so much more as we celebrate 250 years of America. Back now this holiday weekend with 50 states in 50 weeks, America the Beautiful. We're heading now to Montana with Becky Worley, who has a personal connection to Big Sky Country.
I have spent a lot of time in this state. I love to fly fish around Missoula. I've gone treasure hunting in Phillipsburg, and I've spent a lot of time around Flathead Lake. This is an outdoorsman's paradise, and I am all in on Montana. Welcome to Big Sky Country, where there are more cows than people, and some of the most breathtaking views in the nation, like in Yellowstone, America's first national park, home to sweeping vistas, marvelous wildlife, and over half of the world's active geysers. And then there's Glacier National Park, where you can see these frozen rivers that are more than 7,000 years old and drive down one of the most majestic roads in the country. Montana joined the Union as the 41st state in 1889. Its name comes from the Spanish word montaña, which means mountain. It's also nicknamed the Treasure State, thanks to the gold and silver deposits mined from those famous mountains in the 1800s. And speaking of famous, actor Gary Cooper was born here.
I'm not trying to be a hero. If you think I like this, you're crazy.
So was Daredevil Evel Knievel.
He did it!
NBA coach Phil Jackson, too. In the nation's 4th largest state, adventure calls from every corner. Like my favorite Montana activity, fly fishing. The state boasts some of the nation's most exquisite blue ribbon trout streams. A little less serene, Montana's official state sport, American rodeo. And keep an eye out for shooting stars here, because no wish is too big for the big sky of Montana. I'm here at Clydesdale Outpost, which is such an upscale experience. They have beautiful cabins, but I have a funny story. When I was just graduated from college, I was driving cross country with a friend, and we were down near Flathead Lake, and our car broke down. The transmission went out of the truck. It was going to cost $1,500 to replace it. I didn't have $1,500. I could have ridden a horse to get out of there, but we had to stay in Flathead in Polson, and I worked at a Bavarian pancake house flipping pancakes every day to make the $1,500 to fix the car. So I spent a month in Polson, Montana, accidentally. One of those amazing adventures that only seem to happen when you're about that age, and it's made me love Montana ever since.
And from State 41 to 42, Becky Worley has been busy. She's also bringing us to Washington State, taking to the sea and riding a ferry off the coast of Bainbridge Island.
You have not been to Western Washington unless you have been on a boat, and we got on board up in the San Juans and had a whale of a time. It's 9 a.m. in Edmonds, Washington, and we're on a quest.
You ready for some whale watching?
We're aboard the Puget Sound Express, a family-run business spanning 3 generations.
When I started in '85, it was really my dad and I, and then kids came along, and kids grew up doing it with my wife and I.
I would take naps on the boats as a kid because you couldn't go anywhere, so that was growing up.
We launch our 3-hour journey north to Friday Harbor with one goal in mind. Let's see some whales. Our first wildlife encounter, we spot a big colony of sea lions. Permission to enter the wheelhouse, Captain?
Come on up.
No whales yet, but I'm optimistic and hungry. So good news, we're docking in the beautiful San Juan Islands. We've made it to Friday Harbor. That means one very important thing, lunch. We make our way over to the Market Chef, where owner Lori Paul has been preparing farm-to-table dishes for 24 years.
Our business is directly created to the environment where we live.
The environment playing a vital role in keeping the economy alive in the San Juans. And from today's Farmer's Bounty, ingredients for a steak sandwich. Yum. So fresh. Amazing boat trip out, delicious lunch on Friday Harbor, but I really want to see some whales. And almost immediately, there it is! Our first sighting. Humpback whales all have unique prints on their tails so they can be identified. And we just found out from our naturalist that this whale is called Pop-Tart, and it's a she, is 10 years old, and they know that because she was first identified as a calf in 2016.
The rest of those numbers.
Naturalist Rachel says the humpback population in Washington went from a rare sighting back in the 80s to hundreds of whales that return here to feed every year.
We've been going through, over the last several decades, what we fondly call the humpback comeback.
But not all whale species have flourished. Gray whales and southern resident orcas have seen a decline in population.
The food source has changed, which is a big reason for the difference in population.
But the humpback comeback, due in part to the ban of commercial whaling, that boom has created its own visitor economy.
So many people tell us it's their life goal to see whales in the wild.
It was amazing! I've never seen a humpback whale before.
Okay, no orca. But another humpback does cross our path, giving us a quintessential tail wave as it dives down into the sea, leaving us to celebrate the humpback comeback and marvel at these graceful animals.
There's a lot to learn still about the Evergreen State, so let's head back to Becky Worley off the coast of Seattle.
Welcome to Washington, the only state named after a U.S. president. The Evergreen State became the 42nd admitted to the Union in 1889. Washington is home to 29 federally recognized Native American tribes and boasts the largest temperate rainforest in the continental U.S., 5 active volcanoes, and millions of tulip bulbs. The state taking off as a global leader in aerospace, producing 95% of all the commercial airplanes built in North America. And it's the nation's top producer of apples, pears, blueberries, and sweet cherries. How about a cup of joe? The world's very first Starbucks opened at the famed Pike Place Market in 1971.
Welcome to Jeopardy!
Who is Ken Jennings? The state gave us the beloved Jeopardy host, Brandi Carlile, and Jimi Hendrix. As for the big screen, the iconic houseboats of Lake Union set the scene for Sleepless in Seattle.
Dr. Marshall, I don't mean to be rude.
And small screen hits like Grey's Anatomy.
We're just going to take a day and ride the ferry boat.
Ferries, you say? Well, the state boasts the busiest ferry system in the country. And does it smell like Teen Spirit? Washington's own Nirvana and Pearl Jam, fundamental in the foundation of grunge rock here in the state. And hey, Washington, proud home to the reigning Super Bowl champs.
Let's head now to the Gem State with Will Gans bringing us to Idaho and showing us what makes it so special.
Welcome to Idaho, a place that's positively sizzling with state pride and, literal steam coming off of the giant glow-tato behind us. But if there's anything I've learned in my time here in Boise, it's that the outdoor adventure reigns supreme and that a good potato pun goes a long way. And if you don't believe me, well, tater's gonna tate.
For the lucky folks who live here, there's no place like Idaho. A paradise for adventurers. The state boasts more miles of whitewater than anywhere else in the continental U.S. And for skiers...
At Sun Valley, Idaho, a skier learns to ski a mountain, a big mountain.
There's no vacation spot with a richer legacy than Sun Valley, regarded as North America's first destination ski resort, and where the world's first chairlifts were installed. And what's grander than the Grand Canyon? Hell's Canyon, the deepest river-carved gorge in the country. Joining the Union on July 3rd, 1890 as the 43rd state, Idaho claims the only state seal designed by a woman.
Shine bright like a diamond.
A place that shines bright, literally. Officially known as the Gem State, where 72 types of precious and semi-precious stones can be found, including the extremely rare star garnet.
I now have 400 healthy potato plants.
They're real and they're spud-tacular. Nearly 1/3 of the USA's potatoes are grown in Idaho. A beloved starch that's even inspired a famous Boise dessert.
This baked potato is best served ice cold, because it's actually not a baked potato at all. It's ice cream.
The ice cream potato, a real masterpiece, created at Westside Drive-In. It's no wonder the state's capital ushers in the new year by dropping a giant, you guessed it, potato.
And technically, that is the glow-tato that's behind us, which comes with lights and smoke and all kinds of amazing stuff. But one more thing, guys, we might have an Idahoan to thank for the fact that we are live on TV at all. The very first electric-powered television prototype was designed by a 15-year-old, Philo T. Farnsworth, on a farm in Rigby, Idaho, which is just 4 hours from where we stand right here. So thank you, Idaho, I guess, for our jobs, guys.
Thanks, Will. And hey, thanks, Idaho, for our jobs. Coming up, only 7 states left on our journey across America, and we're heading out west to see the sights of Wyoming, Utah, and Oklahoma. We will be right back.
Back now this 4th of July weekend as we visit all 50 states, and we're up to state number 44, which is Wyoming. Becky Worley back now, bringing us to the Cowboy State.
I love Wyoming. I come here a lot. My bestie from college lives here right in Jackson Hole, but I have never in all my visits been to Yellowstone. So when GMA said, do you want to go up on a safari into the park? It's a conservation safari where you're spotting the big 5 animals of Wyoming. I said, why, yes. Wyoming, wide open and teeming with wildlife. And just like African safaris that have their big 5 animals, Wyoming has its own. Elk, bison, moose, bears, and wolves. Jen Dobril of Backcountry Safaris is guiding me through Yellowstone and, the Grand Teton National Park. Right away.
What do you notice?
I see some big kind of tan-colored rumps.
So, Becky, those are elk.
Elk are fundamental to the ecosystem here in Wyoming. Crazy fact, elk regrow new antlers every year at a rate of 1 inch a day during some periods. Okay. Of the big 5, that's number 1. Cha-ching! Next up, we see bison. The herd we encounter is well over 200, including calves called red dogs for their color. 360 degrees of bison. But to keep our distance, Jen has a handy rule. For prey animals like bison,
if I cannot cover them with my hand anymore, I know they're getting too close. So we are going to keep our eye on them.
and for predators like wolves, use your thumb to check. I keep looking for a moose, but we aren't as lucky as this visitor from Minnesota.
We've been here 3 days now. We've seen probably over 30 moose,
Wow.
which is unusual for us.
Moose are the largest members of the deer family, and they can consume 35 to 70 pounds of vegetation each day. Big brown thing out there. Oh my gosh, it's a bear. At first, we think it's a grizzly. But Jen later identifies it as a cinnamon black bear, something I've never seen before. I see it. It's looking right at us. And just a little further down the road. Oh, yeah.
Do you
I
see it?
It's a black bear. Have you seen a bear before?
No, never.
First time?
Yeah.
All right, first time bear.
Yes.
All right, let's go. We make it up past the Continental Divide to the amazing geothermal area of Yellowstone.
This is magnificent.
It's otherworldly. But no wolves, which isn't surprising since the Park Service has never counted more than 200 of the animals since they were reintroduced to the park in 1995. Back in Jackson, no wolf, woo, no moose, but we did find this one and we don't have to keep our distance. So thank you for an amazing day.
You're so welcome, Becky.
I am definitely coming back to see that grizzly someday and a moose. Special thanks to Backcountry Safari, and we love highlighting small businesses like theirs, and Singh Hats, where we are right now with owner Christy Singh Robertson. And these hats are amazing. How long do they take you to make them?
Well, my process takes around 3 days, including drying time.
Per hat?
Per hat.
That's wild, but some of the steps are crazy. You light them on fire?
That's one of the steps.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Do you
okay.
want to see that?
Yeah, what are you spraying on there?
I'm spraying alcohol.
Okay. And whoa! It's like hat flambe.
Yeah.
Why do we do this?
This just burns off some of the final little tiny hairs and singes them off. It helps us to keep from having to sand it for ever and ever.
Now, so what are those steps? You sand it also?
Yeah, so we steam it over a block and we sand it and then we plate it to flatten the brim. We add a sweatband, cut, fit, and sew in a sweatband, and we make a special block for each person's head made out of wood.
A custom block,
Yeah.
the shape and size of their hat. That
We
is
do.
so cool. It's an amazing hat. I'm wearing one right here. And, you know, of course it fits here in Wyoming, but you do see a few more of them. What's the right place to wear a hat?
Well, any place is the right place to wear a hat because if you look at photos back from the early 1900s, you see a sea of hats even in a city. And I feel like we're returning to that.
I love it. I love it. I am completely in on the Wyoming feel and fashion and just fantastic people. So thank you, Christy, for having us.
Yeah, it looks great on
And
you.
guys, this state has so much to offer.
Let's go now to Utah. Will Gans took a ride on the tram, bringing us to the top of Snowbird Mountain.
We have taken you to some truly amazing places as we've counted down our 50 states in 50 weeks, but I have never seen anything quite like what we're looking at here atop Snowbird Mountain and the surrounding mountain ranges. You can see Salt Lake City down behind us, truly breathtaking. And when I say breathtaking, I sort of mean that literally. We are 11,000 feet above sea level, which makes it a little hard to breathe, but Utah is worth it, baby. Take a look.
Whether the weather is cold or whether the weather is warm,
Utah really is a wild ride.
here in America's Mountain City, every great alpine adventure begins with a bestie and a beverage.
Have you ever had a dirty soda?
No.
Get over here. We're going.
Let's do it.
Utah native and Dancing with the Stars pro Jenna Johnson bringing us to Swig, the Utah-based dirty soda shop turned cultural phenomenon.
Dirty soda is just anytime you put a flavor, a puree, a cream in a drink.
Utah is like land of the Mormon bar, which are all the soda shops that we have. It's kind of our vice.
That's worth a little confession on Sunday.
I think that's about 4.7 sextillion combinations.
It's an all-hands-on-deck situation.
Hi!
Hey, polka dots. Jenna, it's a Diet Texas Tab Light Ice.
Oh my gosh, I made a Texas tab.
You made our most popular drink.
I feel like I'm getting the hang of this, Anna.
You're professional.
We got a complicated order. Camille.
Off the clock and on the hunt for adventure. We hit the road for this scenic and speedy trip from Salt Lake City to Snowbird. It only takes half an hour to get from the city to the mountains. With some of the best skiing and snowboarding in the country comes the risk of avalanches, which is where Mabel comes in.
Has Mabel ever been part of an avalanche rescue?
Yeah, we have deployed several times, and luckily the victims that we were looking for had the training, but these dogs are also a really good tool for us to have when that doesn't go to plan.
Mabel is a star student year-round.
What is the drill that we can run with Mabel today?
We have what we call bark barrels, and we have a person hide inside the bark barrel. With these dogs, the main indication we look for is we want them to dig in the snow where they find the person.
Search!
Mabel is on the move.
Just keep hiding, just keep hiding.
Yes, girl! You found me! Utah really is a barrel of fun. So what better than a ride on the Snowbird Mountain Coaster to close out our adventure?
We used the brakes exactly 0 times for anyone keeping count at home.
0. There is so much more to learn about the Beehive State. Let's head back to Will in Utah.
Did you know that the word Utah likely comes from a Native American name, which means people of the mountains? And that's exactly what we are this morning, sharing this incredible view of Snowbird with all of you at home. But the gag is, Utah looks even better when you take a closer look.
It's the most beautiful place in the country. From unparalleled views of the cosmos to jaw-dropping red rock canyons and over 2,000 natural sandstone archways in Arches National Park. It's the home of the Bonneville Salt Flats, where 30,000 acres of salt stretch as far as the eye can see. And as the license plate says, the greatest snow on Earth, hosting upwards of 6.5 million skiers and snowboarders every year. But in Coral Pink Sand Dune State Park, we're not snowboarding, we're sandboarding. The territory of Utah was given to the United States as part of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo after the U.S. claimed victory in the Mexican-American War, officially becoming the 45th state in 1896. But half a century earlier, in 1847, Mormon pioneers founded the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And now Mormons make up 60% of Utah's population. Here's a sweet stat. Utahns consume more lime jello than any other state, the star ingredient in the potluck classic Jello salad. The Sundance Film Festival brought Hollywood to Utah for 47 years. And as for TV, Utah is home of the Huffs, of Dancing with the Stars fame, of course.
Welcome to Utah.
Come ye saints and come ye sinners with the secret lives of Mormon wives, and get your head in the game.
We're all in this together.
The home of High School Musical, East High is a real school in Salt Lake City. Because in Utah, we're all in this together.
Utah has also provided filming locations to some of the greatest movies of all time. I'm talking Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Footloose, and The Sandlot. And this morning, it's the filming location for Good Morning America. And with views like this, how can you blame us?
All good, Will. Up next, Oklahoma and Alex Perez. He's bringing us to the Sooner State with the 100th anniversary of Route 66.
I'm atop the Wheeler Ferris wheel here in Oklahoma City, and I'm riding along some of my new friends. Hey, good morning, guys. How are you? If you look behind us here in the distance, you can see the beautiful downtown skyline here in Oklahoma City. Now, Route 66 runs across this state, and the idea to build that highway was born right here in Oklahoma. It's known as America's Main Street, or the Mother Road.
I get your kicks on Route 66.
An iconic highway from Chicago to Santa Monica, passing through 8 states and the longest drivable stretch, 400 miles, located right here in Oklahoma. It was the first completely paved transcontinental highway, and this year, celebrating its 100th anniversary.
Amy Blackburn,
Nice to meet
welcome.
you. Thanks for having us right here.
Yeah, the Will Rogers Theater in Oklahoma City.
I met up with Amy Blackburn, Oklahoma Director of Tourism at the Will Rogers Theater.
Route 66 for Oklahoma was key. So many things happened because of it. Especially in the centennial year, we're seeing a renewed interest in visiting these small towns with these great little mom and pop experiences. And that's really the magic of Route 66.
For many Oklahomans, it's a ride down memory lane.
We would drive down Route 66, see the big barn, see all of the sights, and that always sticks with me.
I'm kind of a Blue Whale kind of girl. I still fangirl out when I see him.
Dotted with unique landmarks like the Totem Pole Park, home to the world's largest concrete totem pole, Also, the world's tallest gas pump, a 66-foot landmark at the heart of the Route 66 Auto Museum. The Rock Cafe, built in 1939 with road rubble, which later inspired Sally in Pixar's hit movie Cars. And Tulsa's Neon Sign Park, a collection of restored neon signs. And for the latest kick on Route 66, it even sings. In Tulsa, rumble strips on the road sing the tune, "This Land Is Your Land," which was written by proud Oklahoman Woody Guthrie. And this Ferris wheel actually came from Santa Monica, where Route 66 ends. The city bought this Ferris wheel back in 2008. Now, we are expecting a number of celebrations all year long across the country to mark the 100 years of Route 66.
Coming up, we are in the final stretch of our journey across America with just 4 states left. We will be right back.
Welcome back, and we are celebrating our nation's 250th birthday, and we're visiting all 50 states. So we're in the final stretch of our journey with just 4 left. And now, let's go to state number 47 with John Quinones. He's taking us to New Mexico.
I'm standing inside the International UFO Museum in Roswell, New Mexico, where aliens are so popular, they're like local celebrities. You know, for nearly 80 years, this town has embraced one of America's greatest mysteries. Did a UFO crash here in 1947? Well, that debate continues, but I'll tell you one thing. This town, Roswell, has taken that giant flying saucer-sized question mark, and they've turned it into a booming tourist attraction.
Picture a world far beyond our wildest imagination. In Roswell, the alien business is a big one.
If you want to get closer to the UFO world, this is the place to be.
It all dates back to 1947, when it's believed a UFO crashed into the New Mexico desert.
The widely publicized mystery of the flying saucers may soon be solved.
But then the narrative changed, the Air Force saying it was a research balloon. Some locals believe that was a cover-up.
Why the big cover-up? Well, I think it starts in 1947. You're in the middle of a flying saucer scare. You're at the dawn of the Cold War. It's only been 2 years since some of these men who served here, who were POWs and served years over in the Pacific or in Europe during the war, captured, and now they're here. It would have sent shockwaves throughout the world. Yes. I mean, you are just after a cataclysmic event in human history, and you don't know if the next one is on its way.
Now there's heightened excitement following the Pentagon releasing images and videos of an estimated 400 UFO sightings over the last 80 years. Roswell is an international destination. In 2025, it attracted nearly 3 million visitors. There's a UFO McDonald's, an alien holding up the Duncan and Baskin Robbins sign. And it's not your eyes, those are alien lampposts. At Hangar 209, the lore keeps the business moving.
This is small business right on Main Street,
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
How important is it for you to have these customers come in?
Oh, super important. I mean, it's how I feed my family. It's how I feed my family and have my home. And on top of that, I mean, it's fun. I love the lore of Roswell and everything else.
I've spent years asking people, what would you do when faced with an ethical or moral dilemma? Here in Roswell, the question is a little bit different. What would you do if an alien from outer space landed in your backyard?
Talk to it.
I would definitely go check it out.
Invited in for dinner. They will be astonished.
And you know, guys, that radio bulletin you heard in the piece, that radio bulletin announcing the crash of the UFO, first broadcast on ABC News in 1947. Regardless of where you stand, on this whole UFO mystery, one thing is certain, the Roswell story endures because it taps into curiosity, a very human curiosity. We all stand there and look at the night sky sometimes and wonder, what's really up there? What would you guys do, right? Yeah, they believe.
Next up, time to head to the Grand Canyon State with Elizabeth Schulze bringing us to another one of Arizona's spectacular canyons.
Hey, we are so excited to be here in Arizona. We're celebrating in Scottsdale here today. The 48th state, its rich natural beauty and tradition with ties to many indigenous communities. And we spoke with Fun Family that is bringing those traditions to life inside the breathtaking Antelope Canyon.
Arizona is known for its natural beauty, and for the Antelope Canyon, the most photographed and visited slot canyon in the American Southwest, the storytelling goes far beyond the sweeping orange sandstone and breathtaking light beams. It's a sacred place on Navajo land.
Here we asked our elders what's the symbolism to this canyon here that we are entering. And they started sharing stories with us, like they say that it's home of the big wind.
Dalvin Etzedy and his family, the Begay family, have been giving tours of the canyon for more than 30 years. Sharing centuries-old traditions.
We show them these things and their eyes open to it. Songs, storytelling, and then they see the culture. We try to have them embrace that. Bless us, watch over us. We want to walk in beauty.
Their tour is rooted in rituals, starting with a prayer as a sign of respect.
This is what we call the wall of fire. It lights up like that.
The generational storytelling established by the matriarchs started with Dalvin's 101-year-old grandmother, Pearl. Speaking in her native language, telling us it's wonderful to see the family business grow and traditions endure after all these years. Antelope Canyon Navajo Tour is just one of the many family-owned companies within their community that Dalvin says allow his people to live out what he calls the Native American dream.
It provides a lot of jobs for our people in our community right here, what we refer to as Lechi'i. At least 500,000 visitors a year that travel through here.
Gianna and Howard from Pennsylvania, among those grateful to witness the beauty and learn about a different culture.
To learn about the tribes and the history of it has been really great.
For Dalvin and his family, their hope is to leave visitors with a better understanding of Navajo Nation.
So Grandma, she'll always say, that means wherever you go, whatever you do, there's always kinship wherever you travel.
I am excited to be here right now with Denise Rosales, who owns the Native Art Market where we are right now, and also the Fry Bread Lounge next door, which is one of just a handful of Native-owned restaurants in the entire country. Denise, talk to us a little bit about why it's so important for you to bring a taste of this culture right here in Scottsdale, where we are this morning.
Absolutely. So we wanted to share our own culture, our arts, food and art and everything here that we see all around us. Correct. And so we are the first and only Indigenous-owned gallery and restaurant here in Old Town. And here at the Native Art Market, it functions as a co-op, so that our artisans get direct deposits. And at the Fry Bread Lounge, we support Indigenous food producers.
On our way to the 49th state, Trevor Ault bringing us to the last frontier, Alaska.
Stunning glaciers, dazzling fjords, and that's just the tip of what this state has to offer. Alaska's Aleutian Islands cross the 180th meridian. That means it's technically both our westernmost and easternmost state. It also sports the highest mountain peak in the country, Mount McKinley in Denali National Park, and has a state capital only accessible by boat or plane. That's no issue for these Alaska residents, the majestic bald eagle seen throughout the state, along with fearsome grizzlies, polar bears, and leaping salmon too. Alaska also has the most federally recognized tribes in the nation, 229 of them, and indigenous people in the Arctic region of Alaska invented the kayak some 4,000 years ago. Another Alaskan jewel? The Singer Jewel. She hails from Homer, Alaska.
I'm Bob Ross, and for the next 13 weeks, I'll be your host as we experience the joy of painting.
And we can't forget the man who taught America to paint.
We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
Legendary TV painter Bob Ross was first inspired to paint when he was stationed as a first sergeant at Eielson Air Force Base in Fairbanks.
When God made Alaska, he was having a good day. You know, some days everything works. And I think when God made Alaska, he was having one of those days.
Well, the moment has arrived. We have made it to our 50th state. Last but certainly not least, it is time to take a trip to the Aloha State, beautiful Hawaii.
Aloha. It means hello, goodbye, I love you, and it's Hawaii's nickname, the Aloha State. Hawaii is the only state with 2 official languages, English and Hawaiian. Polynesian culture and the diverse population of the state make Hawaii the melting pot of the Pacific. The 50th state to join the Union in 1959, Hawaii is the only state with a royal palace that celebrates the native Hawaiian monarchy from King Kamehameha, who united the islands, to the room where Queen Liliuokalani was imprisoned by sugar barons who overthrew the monarchy in 1895. These days, sugar is out and tourism is in. It accounts for the largest share of Hawaii's economy as more than 5.5 million visitors come to the islands yearly. And about these islands, there are 8 main ones: Kauai, Niihau, Oahu, Molokai, Lanai, Maui, Kaho'olawe, and Hawaii, the Big Island, which boasts the tallest mountain on Earth, Mauna Kea, 33,000 feet if you measure from the ocean floor. But okay, it's only 13,803 feet if you measure from sea level. And with Kilauea volcano producing outrageous plumes of lava, Hawaii is actively adding landmass to the United States. Hawaii is a tropical marvel and the crown jewel of the western United States.
Oh my, what an incredible trip around the country and a great way to celebrate 250 years of our nation.
Thank you so much for joining us this 4th of July weekend.
Just a few hours from now, we'll be back. We'll see you on GMA at 7 a.m.
You've got to change clothes.
Yeah, no.
I can't be wearing this at 7.